Hello and welcome to WhyZ. About a month back, I made a video talking about Luffy's connection to the Hindu god Lord Hanuman. At that particular time frame, we were not aware of Luffy's true devil fruit. We didn't know the true name of Luffy's devil fruit, and it was then that I made the video talking about the potential connections between Luffy and Lord Hanuman. I sort of went over this video talking about it in contrast or in reference to the Sun Wukong theories, because that is probably one of the biggest theories for Luffy's origin or Luffy's inspiration, which has been talked about for a number of different years. Because let's be real about it, the Sun Wukong theories were actually pretty good. Sun Wukong is a very interesting and very important character in a lot of philosophical and mythical tales. And in fact, Luffy's own name is based on a monkey, so it was not really a very far-fetched theory. Also, in this particular context, you have to remember that Oda himself is a very big fan of Toriyama, so it was always possible that he could have taken some inspirations from Goku, who is in turn created on the basis of the Sun Wukong character. But in my video, I talked about how Luffy's connection to these things might not be directly to the Sun Wukong character, but it could be to the original reference to all of these things, because a lot of the scholars believe, a lot of the historical scholars believe that Sun Wukong might actually be based on the story of Lord Hanuman. So that video came out a month back, and since then we have got the reveal for Hito Hitonomi model Nika. Now, in my original video, I talked about how Luffy's devil fruit could actually be based around Hito Hitonomi model Hanuman. But today, we need to talk about all of these things once again, because chapter 1048 is bringing back this discussion once again on the table. And I feel like we have a very good starting point for a major theory, because last time I didn't went too hard on this particular theory. There's a lot more things to keep into consideration, specifically from the moment we got to see Luffy's true awakening and the true range of his powers and what exactly he can do. Now, this is going to be a two-part video. In the first part of this video, I'm going to talk mostly about Luffy's connection to Lord Hanuman and what could be the reasoning, what could be the references to all of these things. And in the second part of this video, rather, I'm going to talk about one particular instance which Oda might use this reference actually for, because it's not just going to be Hanuman which is the reference, which is the only reference for, Luffy. Pretty sure that Oda already has other references in mind. I've already made one separate video talking about the banyan tree fruit, which has a reference to Nika, the sun god Nika, and what is the relation to all of these things with rubber in general. So I'm not here saying that Hanuman is the only reference for Luffy, but this case is pretty much inside, and this reference makes a lot of sense in my opinion. So in the first part of this video, I'm going to talk about this reference directly, and in the second part, I'm going to talk about a future event which might be directly affected by this if this reference is actually true. So hello and welcome to WhyZ. Thank you so much for joining in. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more. With that being said, let's just quickly jump into the video. Now, as we all know, Luffy is actually the son of Monkey D. Dragon. We don't really know the true maternal lineage of Luffy at this particular point in time. We are just aware of Monkey D. Dragon, who is himself able to control the weather, or at least control winds. Now, is this a power granted to him via the devil fruits, or is this a power innate to him, something he has controlled or mastered over himself? Is it a byproduct of some form of a conqueror's haki that we have not seen so far? All of these questions remain unanswered, but one thing which is definitely answered via this theory is Luffy's origin, or at least the reference for Luffy's origin. If Luffy is indeed inspired or referenced by Lord Hanuman, then it's a very one-to-one adaptation, because Lord Hanuman himself is the son of the wind god. He is called Vayuputra or Pavanputra, which is basically a term as the son of the wind god. Now, these are very old texts and very old scriptures, so there might be varying differences in whichever philosophy you want to believe in. Hinduism is generally not a one-to-one adapted story. There are multiple different outlooks and outtakes. So I'm just giving you a brief idea or a general idea of what exactly it is. Some say that Lord Hanuman is directly a son of Lord Shiva, but typically the most accepted theory is that he is the son of the wind god, which could be taken as a direct reference into the world of One Piece via Monkey D. Dragon and Monkey D. Luffy. Now, that's not all, because in fact, according to the mythos, according to the stories, Hanuman as a child was a very mischievous and very playful kid who used to jump around, and with the powers of the wind, he used to go to various different places. Now, one of the most important stories from the childhood of Hanuman is that once upon a time, while seeing at the sky, he noticed the sun and he thought that this might be a very tasty fruit, a very tasty mango fruit, and he just reached for it. He tried to grab it, he went towards the sky, he just kept going on and on and on towards the sun in an attempt to get this particular fruit. And as a result of this, the thunder god Indra was very agitated by all of these things and he stuck Hanuman down. Now, this is one of those major stories, whether you want to believe this with the allegory for the devil fruits, it's up to you. But another major story in this particular regard is that how a young Hanuman actually lost his powers. Now, according to most of the legends, he used to be very mischievous, and as a result of it, he used to disturb the priests and the yogis around the place, and as a result of this, he got a curse wherein he forgot all his innate powers as a child. It wasn't until he was a full-fledged adult during the events of the Ramayana that he got back his true powers, when people reminded him of his true powers. Yeah, it's possible that the sun god Nika, the original sun god Nika, something like that happened to him as well. He used to be very powerful, but at the same time, he loved to party, he loved to put on a joyous show, so he might have been cursed by some people. And this also correlates to the entire theory of Emu as well, who is technically immortal and might have existed from the very time of sun god Nika himself, and who has been trying to manipulate the powers behind the scene and going on with all of these things. And in fact, it is possible that he himself was the person who cursed the sun god Nika, or he's the person responsible for sealing away all of these powers. And as a direct result of it, the Hito Hitonomi model Nika fruit itself was banned, and the world government tried to, lower down its name or tried to erase its very existence from the actual world because of its true powers. Now, talking about the actual powers which were forgotten, there are 8 distinct powers or siddhis which Hanuman used to possess. Now, again, as a result of various different mythological outtexts and various different stories, there are some contradictions about the exact 8 natures of these things, so I'm going to talk about 9. One is interchangeable sort of, but I'm pretty sure that you'll get a basic understanding of what exactly I'm trying to explain here in the context of Luffy, because I feel like all of these things, every single one of these powers, somehow correlate back to Luffy, and it's very much possible here that Oda has definitely taken some of the major inspirations from Luffy, from Lord Hanuman himself. So, the first power here is Anima, the ability to become smaller than the smallest. The next is Mahima, the ability to become infinitely large. Now, both of these are, as you can see, antagonistic powers. They are the opposites of the same power. And this is in fact something which Luffy is able to achieve himself right now with the freedom of his rubber, based powers, and now he's actually able to become a giant with his huge arms, as we saw with the actual awakening of Luffy's devil fruit, especially how he was able to basically yoink Kaido out of the skies of Onigashima. And according to the theories, Hanuman, when he was revived of his power, or when he actually remembered his powers, he was able to become a giant and instantly leap over the oceans. Yeah, Hanuman was actually able to become a giant. So, wink wink, is this a link back to Luffy's gigantification or something related to Elbaf? Yeah, pretty much that's it. Now next, there's the powers of Laghima and Garima. Now these are again antagonistic powers of becoming lighter than air and becoming heavier than air. These are not explicitly stated to be the powers of Luffy here at this particular moment, but I feel like because of the freedom of his rubber fruit, or rather the tenacity of his fruit, he might be able to achieve a power set like this. The next one is Prapti, which is a bit, I don't know how to explain in the terms of One Piece, because this is something which we have seen in other anime shows but not exactly in the world of One Piece, and this would be maybe truly a very OP power for Luffy, but this is the only one which I'm kind of conflicted. It's possible that Oda might not pick up this one, and that is Prapti, the ability to instantly travel anywhere at will. Yeah, this is a very broken power, so it's something which Oda might not be using for Luffy as a whole. The next one is Prakamya, the ability to achieve whatever one desires. Now I'm going to talk about this particular power set along with two more powers together because I feel like the three of them contribute together to one power of Luffy. So let me move on to the next one, which is Isitwa, the ability to create or annihilate anything at will. And the last one here is Wasitwa, the ability to control the elements of material nature and exert one's willpower over other beings or exert one's influence over other people. Now the last three powers, they are not a one-to-one adaptation, but I feel like pretty much if we combine all of these three things together, this is essentially looking at advanced Conqueror's Haki, exerting one's will or exerting one's influence or presence over the other people, Conqueror's Haki, ability to destroy or annihilate anything at will, advanced Conqueror's Haki and its application with Ryo or advanced armament Haki and its, destructive prowess, and lastly Prakamya, the ability to achieve whatever one desires, which is basically mastery over something, mastery over willpower. So yeah, it all convolutes to advanced Conqueror's Haki. And lastly we arrive at Kamavasyatha, the ability to assume any form or shape one desires. This is something which I definitely believe that Luffy is going to be able to achieve down the road. He's sort of doing this already with his awakened quirk, with his awakened devil fruit and how his rubber based powers are basically acting at this particular moment, but this will be exemplified more and more as the series moves forward. So these are the powers of Hanuman and they pretty much look a lot like Luffy's here at this particular moment. So basically if we look at things like that, it very much looks like Oda has definitely taken some major inspirations for Luffy from the Hindu god Lord Hanuman. Now I'm not saying that this is the only reference for Luffy, there are multiple different references. Oda loves to use various different cultures, mythologies, from biblical allusions to Buddhist stories to Hindu stories. A lot of these things are going on, but the reason why I'm making this particular video right now is because of chapter 1048 and how Luffy is actually using Gomu Gomu no Bajrang gun. Now as you all are aware, Bajrang is actually a name for Hanuman, Lord Hanuman himself. So yeah, I feel like this is actually a pretty good theory. Now this is actually part 1 of my video because here I just wanted to give you all a clear justification about Luffy's influence which might be taken over from Hanuman. In the next video I'm going to talk about why this is actually important and how it is going to really impact the future of One Piece, considering one major incident or one major outcome or event which is definitely going to take place. It has been actually prophesized in the real story. So this is it for this quick video. Thank you so much for watching guys. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more. Be sure to check out the second part of this video because I feel like that is going to be absolutely amazing. With that being said, this is WhyZ. See you all on the next one.